All right, welcome to the Sunday Night Hangout. My name is Kelly Vincent. This is Tina Malsom. We have a very exciting guest on for you tonight. So I'm going to let Tina announce him.
So tonight we have Michael Bernoff, and we're going to show you a short video. But I just want to say I'm fairly new to knowing Michael. We met just a few months back. He sent us this awesome care pack with these cool t-shirts and his book, and I just started it. But here's what I know, and all I needed was these three things, and I was like, we got to get this. We got to have him as a guest. He's incredible. He's a high performance coach, a communications expert, and he has knowledge in the MLM arena we all live in. And those three things alone made me think our team's got to hear everything out of his mouth, because if you go to his website and read his reviews, I mean, it's like one after another, after another, after another of people who say he has changed their life, changed their business. And I'm just so excited to have Michael with us tonight.
Plus, he's a fun guy.
I am fun.
And everybody would want to hang out with him. We're so glad you came on with us tonight, Michael. So we'll turn it over to your guy, Mike, and play your little video here, and then we'll get going.
Perfect. I love it. And thank you. Excited. See if we can figure this out.
There you go. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to experience Michael Bernoff, the founder of the Human Communications Institute, a man heralded as the world's foremost expert on communication, persuasion, and influence. Voted top speaker by audiences and associations time and time again, Michael has helped thousands of people all over the globe transform their lives through his signature events, audio and video programs, and one-on-one consulting. Combining his natural talent as a communicator and deep understanding of human psychology, he has the powerful ability to tap into virtually anyone's motivation strategy. Michael bases all he teaches on a technology he created, human interaction technology, which easily unlocks the mysteries to building charisma, influence, persuasion, and connection with others. As we bring Michael to the stage, he will shed light on subliminal psychological triggers that affect performance and reveal powerful strategies for leaving average life behind. The result is greater financial wealth, physical health, and lasting confidence in all aspects of life, both personal and professional. So if you're ready to learn the technology for taking your life to the next level, please stand and welcome Michael Bernoff.
All right. Well, that was an intro of intros on Zoom. I haven't seen that video in a while because, like a lot of us, I have not, I've been traveling a little bit, but I haven't traveled as much as I have in the past. So you didn't have to stand, but I'm glad we shared that. And I really, really appreciate it. So I could ask all of you a question. How many of you are super excited to dominate the end of 2021? How many of you are excited about that? Get our products out there, make a difference, scream those immortal words we say in our company. Average sucks, not stinks, but sucks, because it's not strong enough to remind people of that. And as we get started, I wanted to, a lot of you don't know me. We've never met before. We haven't connected before. I want to make a really, really big promise. That video promised a lot, but my desire is in the next hour, if I can have an hour of your time invested appropriately, I would love each and every one of you to get not only inspired, excited, but have some really cool little tools that you can use starting tonight, as late as tomorrow, if you're a slow mover, that is going to have the ability to make a big difference on your next email, your next phone call, your next text, the next thing you do. Because how many of you have got some people in your life that they need these products? They just got hard heads. How many of you know that they got hard heads? It's like, what, are you crazy? What is wrong with you? And my job is to, not like, I'm from Jersey, we're not going to hit them with a sledgehammer, but we really need to stop that thinking they have where they stop themselves, open them up, or open up some new people that we haven't even met yet to get really excited. So the big thing I want to do right off the bat, and I saw this, Tina and Kelly, I want to just shout out to you because I have been around direct sales for 20 something years. I use the same strategies I learned from my mentor at 17 years old. And I'll tell you about me and how long I've been around this for years. I use the same strategies to this day, even though I'm not actively building a company at a gas station, in a restaurant, how to get, never wait in line for anything. I remember on Valentine's Day, when you can't get a reservation, they saw me pull up at the W and they're like, we got your seat. And even though the parking lot's full, we'll park you up front, Michael, no problem. So the same strategies that I've used for almost 25 years have made me not only millions of dollars, but have really made a difference in my life. But I use them every day and they're dripping into my kids' lives as well. And I'm gonna tell you, any of you that have children or nieces and nephews, grandkids, these skills are dying out there in the world, and we need to make sure we're using them, because the entrepreneurial spirit is hot and exciting. And I'm gonna tell you, I used to call it a plan B. Folks, entrepreneurism is plan A now, and there ain't a plan B. Plan B is like hoping and praying. And I promise you, yes, I went to church this morning, but hoping and praying, I promise you, someone up there is waiting for you to get started and do the work. So I got to tell you, I've been around this forever. I got to give a shout out to you both for not only putting this together, being the leaders you are, but when I saw your post the other day, and I saw that in the United States of America, which is a really, really big place, hitting the rank that you hit and doing what you did. And I saw the post. That is not easy. Borderline for most people, impossible. It takes courage, strength, tenacity. And I just got to give you a shout out. And I wrote it up there, is being able to hit the ambassador level in the US. I want to give a shout out. Everybody, scream it, type it, say it. Congratulations. The whole team did it. You guys are leaders. You're amazing. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to speak for them right now. And I know this to be true. The words in their head are like, who's next?
Congratulations.
Who here is next? Because they're looking at it like, we did it. We paved the way. We broke the neural pathway. We took the concrete and we shedded it. And now it's like, who's next? So I got to ask all of you, type it in the box. I want you to say it. I'm next. Let's go. Who's going to write I'm next? Just write it down. I'm next. Say it. Have the courage. Write it down. I'm next. Type it in the box, because the greatest gift you can give is not an applause to them, is to duplicate and hit that level, also to make certain to hit premier to get there. Because I'm gonna tell you, I've been a leader for years. And as a parent, as a leader, as an industry leader, one of the things I've realized is getting other human beings to want it and play past their average is the greatest thing in the world. So I've got a night plan. I want to see this in the box, like in the chat box. I want to see I'm next, I'm next. And if you don't have the courage to type I'm next, ask your kid to come in the room. They'll type I'm next. Okay. You can say congratulations, I'm next, because what they want is you to like blow them over, knock them off to the side, kick their asses, build a bigger business than them. They are not going to be upset. So here's my desire for the next hour. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make it very, very simple what I'm going to deliver. I do talk quickly. So if any of you are like, he talks fast, I'm from New Jersey and I like to over deliver. I see Kristen, are you from New Jersey? You're like clapping. Okay, you're probably angry too. I got it. New Jersey, right? I got it. Okay, angry people, right? But what's interesting is I talk quickly because I've always talked quickly. But number two is, why not give you double the information half the time? So stop telling me I talk quick and just start thinking you like listen slow. So learn how to listen faster and I'll deliver more info to you. So work on that today. Turn that on. How do I listen quicker? How do I get more out of this? Instead of pointing fingers and go, he talks fast. How about I'm going to learn how to listen faster. So here's my desire for today. It's very simple. The next 50 minutes or so is I want to get a really clear understanding of how to get the mindset correct to dominate and win, because there isn't a person out there that on this right now that isn't smart enough to realize they did it, I can do it. They did it, I can do it. They did it, I can do it. The biggest thing that gets in the way is they did it, I'm going to try it my way. And one of my mentors early on taught me a very simple thing. He said, to make a functional relationship work in life, there's about 4 things you need to do. And that's about it. There's 4 million things that don't work, but there's only about 4 things you do to make great marriage. There's about 4 things you could do to be a great husband or wife. There's 4 or 5 things to do to be a great mom or dad. There's 4 or 5 things you need to get rich. And there's 40 million you can do that are never going to work. So if you've got this desire to be creative and be artistic and everything, that's great. Do that later. But in this business, let's keep it simple. Let's do what works. And once you buy into that, it's going to make the real big difference for all of you. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to cover here today. I'm going to make it real simple. Number one is, and I believe this will excite all of you. I'll get you to know me here in a few minutes, but how many of you would like to know what stops most people, whether it's you or other people, from being the best they can be? How many of you would like to bring out the best in people? You can raise your hands. And if your hand doesn't work, you can raise your head higher if you want, but just give me an indication. Because if you're going to stare at me like, prove it to me, Michael, this is never going to work. So you just raise your hand and you're like, got it, Michael, I'm in. I want to know this. I want to do it. So I'm going to share with you what stops most people from getting the life that they want. Now, why this is important is I'm going to be talking about you and every person you prospect from this day forward. That's super exciting. Number two, I'm going to make a lot of people in this industry mad. And I really hope I don't make Tina and Kelly mad when I say this, but I'm going to talk to you why goal setting doesn't work for 99% of the people in the world, why just having a why is not enough, and what really motivates a human being to get started, whip out their wallet, get started, join you in business, and stay with you for years. How many of you would like to learn the real reason people get started? Maybe even uncover your real reason when you got started. It's funny, what you think it is and what it is, I can guarantee you they're very, very different, what the reasons are. And then I'm going to share with you one line that I've used for years, and it's made me $20-30 million. Okay. And I don't mean in sales, I mean like a lot of money in my life. And it's one very simple thing that is going to motivate you, excite you, get you turned on, make you happy. And if you could start saying it, the first 4 or 5 times you say it, you might be like, that sounds kind of weird. By the 5th time you say it to your cat or your dog or a prospect or a friend, you're going to feel more confident. And then it's going to roll off your tongue like that. And you're going to say it all the time. And you are going to light people up, get you excited. They might not even join you in business, but they're going to like you more. They're going to want to be around you. And one day it's going to happen. They're going to turn around. You know what they're going to say to you? So tell me about the thing you've been doing for years. I want to know a little bit more about it. It's really a leadership question that every one of you, even if you're like, but I'm new, I'm not a leader, nobody on my team yet. You can still be a leader if you don't have followers, but you got to be a leader first. And most people are not being a leader in what it is they do and leading in their life. I give a very simple example. I'm just going to have ADD for a minute. Does anybody have ADD here? Raise your hand if you do. If you don't have it, you should get that shit because it works. I don't want to curse too much. It's Sunday, but sometimes you got to get your point across. Again, I'm from Jersey. And ADD, I remember when I first found out I had it. Here's what happened. I had a teacher in school. I'm 44 and this in about 2 weeks. And I was always taught auditorily, and the teachers didn't realize that MTV came around in our generation. So we became very visual creatures, and my teacher was boring. He's 65, I'm 16, I'm bored. So they're like, oh, it can't be the teacher. It's got to be the kid. So I sat down with a therapist, and here's how simple it was to drug a child. You know, this drugging people thing is not new. Do you know what I'm saying? They've been doing it for years. They cured most things. Like, what else can we sell people? Maybe they have ADD. So I remember going in a room, and the therapist asked me a question. You know what they said? When you are in a room and people walk by, do you ever look up? I think it's smart to look up. I mean, you should know who just walked into the room. They might want to mug you, right? Of course they look up. Ah, you have ADD. And I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. And they said, you know what? You've got about a 90% chance of ever living effectively. I did math. I go, I got it. I'll take the 10%. And he's like, you don't get to pick. I'm like, it's already late, buddy. I already picked the 10%. I'm going to get the life I want. So what is this ADD? And I remember that day, I didn't know what it meant. So I came up with a term called adynamic disorder. And I realized every one of my millionaire friends, they've got a version of it. And most people don't understand ADD. It is the ability to hyper-focus, possibly on the wrong thing. But how many of you would like to hyper-focus on getting rich? How many of you would like to hyper-focus on making a difference? So you need a version of ADD. So if you've got it and anyone's ever said you're distracted or you're everywhere, you got to say thank you and congratulations. I will never get stuck. I'm going to get the life that I want. And the last thing I'm going to share with you today, if this excites you all, is I'm going to teach all of you how to take that one word that we all hate, that no word. How many of you would like to take the no word and make a lot of money off it? How many of you would like to make a lot of money? Someone says no and they book an appointment with you. Somebody says no and they do a phone call with you. Somebody says no and they come to the next meeting you have. Somebody says no and they get on the next Zoom that Tina's doing. I am excited to show you that here today. And it's the most subtle sleight of hand shift that anybody can do. So let's get started and let's get into this. So I have been around direct sales since 1995. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and one of them was not getting involved with direct sales. Number two mistake I made was the guy that got me involved, Jake Plumber. He played for ASU. His mom got me started in a telephone card network. It was back in the day, it was selling phone cards. Do you guys remember phone cards? You dialed 900 digits to get started. That was my first adventure. My second one I did that I took very seriously, because how many of you are on your second business? Anybody on their second or third or 18th? Okay, if you are, you found your home. I've taken a lot of pride in realizing I only work with certain companies. You've got it going on. So you do not need to look anywhere else or do anything else. Home found. You need to stop looking. Okay. So my mentor said, do what I do. I've already screwed up the first company, and the second one, I'm not going to mess this up. It's kind of like second marriage. I've never been in a second one. I will not have one, but I know a lot of people got out of one marriage. They found a second one. I will not screw this one up. So he said, do what I do and follow my lead. And he gave me a script, and he said, everybody you meet, and this is how long I've been in the business, give them a VHS tape and say this. And I am the first person ever that never left my house and made money. I don't think the internet was even around back then, right? When 96 or whatever, barely the internet was there. And a guy with a brown outfit knocked on my door for UPS. He goes, knock, knock. And he shows up with this big old box. Like I'm talking like this, because I did whatever my mentor said. I bought 100 VHS tapes. Like if you don't know, if you're young, you don't know VHS, they're like this big, right? And so I got this big old box. He knocks on my door and he goes, I have packages for you. One here and one in the truck. And then he goes, do you know what these are? And I'm like, wait a second, that's a person. I'm supposed to ask all people this question and give all people a VHS. So I said, can you stand here a minute? And I literally walked in my house, came out with a box cutter. I flipped it open. I'm not joking, folks. I've never told a story like this before. And I walked out at the UPS guy with a box cutter. So I'm 6'6", and I'm coming at a guy with a knife. I said, nope. And I opened up the box, got through the packaging, pulled out a VHS tape and my script. I must have looked like a moron. And I go, so, sir, do you pay taxes? And I was a tax company. And I'm like, would you blah, blah, blah. And I followed the script. And then it said, if they say this, say this. I even read it out loud. I said the quiet part out loud. I shouldn't have. I read like, if they say this, this. I go to hand him the VHS. And as I hand him the VHS tape, I said, can you commit, because it said it on here, can you commit to watching this in the next 24 hours? It is my last one left. It said last one left on the script. There's 200 of them in front of me. I must have looked really stupid, right? I literally, no, I'm just reading the script. I hand him the VHS. I said, come back tomorrow. We'll talk about it. The dude showed up the next day with a suit on and his wife and a $300 check and an application filled out that he printed off the internet. That is the first and last time that ever happened to me that somebody knocked on my door and wanted to buy things. But I realized the biggest thing. It was truly about following directions of what worked. And I literally read it off. I read it off a script paper. And that day I realized very simply, this person was interested in what it is I was offering. And most people are not very clear on the biggest thing that we're offering here in the world right now and why it's very important to what I'm about to share with you and why you have got to really open up your mind to this very, very simple idea. And if you have a minute and you haven't like told your teammates, if you're loving this and you haven't invited your teammate, like I'm not going to think you're rude if you like literally pick up your thing called a phone. Everything's average sucks around here. And I want you to pick up your phone and just send them a message like, you've got to hear this maniac. This guy's crazy. Come check him out. Get them on here. This will inspire them. And maybe they'll do what my mentor said. Screw up and bring somebody in. How many of you would like someone to screw up and bring in a new team member? I'd love a lot of people to screw up and maybe they get a leader for you. Send them a message. Tell them to be here. It'll be really great for them. So what happened is I realized early on, there was a big disconnect that was going on. And what I mean by disconnect was what I wanted and the way that I living was very, very different. So I don't know if I could speak for all of you, but I know for a fact that my story is not your typical personal development speaker story. I really wish I had it. Like I've been in events before where they say like, you've got to have a good story. I didn't have a good one. Like I don't have the story like Tony Robbins, like having 5 dads. I mean, that's a good story. 5 dads, little apartment, washing my dishes in the bathtub. I don't have it. When my friend Sean Stevenson was alive, the man never lived. He lived to 40, never grew past 3 feet tall. He was my neighbor, lived down the street, broke 300 bones in his body the day he was born, lived to 40, changed the world, made millions of dollars. I don't have that story. I wasn't left on a subway when I was 6. If you guys have a story like this and you're making a business work, congratulations. And I don't have the other story. Like my dad's Steve Forbes, my dad's Steve Jobs, and I'm wealthy and I found a way to make the family fortune more money. My story is probably a lot like a lot of yours, and the biggest reason why most people don't succeed in this world. And I want to really get clear with this right now, where most people are screwing up and really what this average sucks thing is really all about, and why we as a company, we as a community have to make a difference and really offer this to people. Because I grew up with a time where it was a really great concept. And I want to really dig deep on this, because if you ever wondered, like, why don't they do this? They need this business. They could use an extra, how many of you know people that could use an extra $1,000 a month? Like, I don't know about you guys. If you applied an extra $1,000 a month to your mortgage, you're paying that off like 7 years earlier, most people. Maybe not your house, Tina, but most people's houses, right? They're going to pay them off a little bit quicker, but you still should apply it. Like, that's what most people don't. And I've been to their house. It's phenomenal, but I've seen a piece of it, like the little bit up front. But what's interesting is most people don't recognize that it could make a difference. So what happens is most people, they're stuck. So back around 1948, they came up with this really great idea. This is not a conspiracy. It was a really good idea gone wrong. What I mean by that is they came up with this idea. They said, people are nervous. They're uncomfortable. We have to find a way to make them feel safe. So they invented something that never existed before. It was called the middle class. I'll prove it to you. How many of you have watched Little House on the Prairie? Anybody Little House on the Prairie? I don't say the P word for last year because I don't like to use the P word. I don't use the P word or the C word because I'm sick of talking about it. How many of you understand? Like, I don't want to call it during the what? You know what I say it? The unique year 2020 we had where we all learned how to grow. I just call it that year. I don't even want to say the P word anymore because it puts pain into people. How many of you would agree? We as a group have got to stop saying the P word. And you know the word I mean. So my kids, I want to teach them about life. So I made them watch Little House on the Prairie. Every episode, bad things happen. Every episode, there's adversity. Every episode, all kinds of crazy stuff. But during Little House on the Prairie, if you watched it, you were rich or poor, and that was it. How many of you get the concept? Rich or poor, and that was it. And what's interesting about it is, I got to mute somebody. I think they've got a little noise going on. We'll take care of that person. Don't mute me though. And what was crazy is that was the world for years, rich or poor. And then they invented this thing called middle class, which totally worked for years because up until about 1995, you still had to wait to get your pictures developed. There was built-in adversity. You had to walk places, but we become lazy as people. Like now I know my daughter got something and we let her win something by doing great at whatever she did. And she wanted some American Girl thing. And we got a version of it on Amazon. She goes to the thing, she pushes it, and then she runs to the front door wondering why it's not there. How many of you recognize that's the world we live in? People think if you buy something on Amazon, you should get it right away. You decide something, you should get it immediately. So why I'm telling you, like, Michael, why would you think the middle class is bad, man? You were okay. Well, here's the problem with being okay. When you're okay, okay is okay. And I'll say it one more time. Okay is still okay if you're okay. And okay is still okay if you're okay. But as soon as okay is not okay, it's not okay anymore. I was going to print it on a shirt. I figured it would cost too much. So I just wrote the word average sucks. And the reason why is average sucks is not about me being better than you. It's not about, and it is the greatest prospecting t-shirt in the world because I promise you, when you wear it, people stop you. High-level people stop you. The people you want in your program stop you. And here's the most fascinating thing about it is it is not about being better than others. It's every one of us have an average. And we have been trained by society to be like everyone else instead of being the full version of ourselves. So I'm 6'6". I play my life like I'm 5'11". I'm being honest with all of you. I really do. And my goal is to one day before I die, to play all 6'6" of myself. How many of you would agree you may be pushing hard, but you're not really getting all out of yourself? How many of you would agree with that? There's a whole nother gear inside. There's another level. I don't care how many double, triple, backflip ambassadors that these two make it to. They know there's another level inside of what it is they can do. And the reason this middle class thing is a problem is our parents taught us this ridiculous concept. I remember going to the Short Hills Mall in New Jersey, and I'd say, Mom, how do you get a car like this? And it was a Lexus because we drove Buicks because my parents were like, keep a car for 30 years. Like those were my parents, right? And I'd say, how do you get a car like this? You know what they said? Work hard and be a good person. So I went into business for myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I get into my first direct sales company and I use my parents' plan. Now listen, I listened to not a salesperson, not an entrepreneur, an aerospace engineer and a school teacher. I'm not dissing my parents, but they are not to give me entrepreneurial advice. And I took their advice. Work hard, be a good person, and I fell flat on my face. I made a couple of grand a month. I worked hard, burned myself out, and I almost gave up on direct sales. And the reason I'm telling you this right now is I want to save all of you a shortcut. I want to help you get through this. And I want to show you something that changed everything for me. And it's very, very subtle. And it's something I didn't learn until one guy woke me up, changed my entire life. And I remember going to this seminar and going to this event. And I'll tell you real simply, I realized one very simple word. And I'm going to give everybody an opportunity. If you've worked with me before and you know me, you're not allowed to answer the question because I know your name. But I want you to think of this word for a second. And I'm going to scroll down. I don't know how to get all the way down on the screen so I can see the bottom stuff. I want to ask all of you a question. What's the one thing we do more than anything all day long? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not talk about sex or think about sex, ladies. It's not that, okay? It's not breathing. What is it? And ladies, you think about it more than not being on your phone. Put it in the box. I got sleep. What do we do more than anything in the world? Let me see it. Come on, put it in the box. I'm going to give away an Average Sucks t-shirt if somebody gets it. Okay, right here. Waste time, eat, complain. All of these are it, but it's one word I haven't seen yet. And it's the word that when you get it is going to change your life. Facebook, Instagram, procrastinate, bitch and complain. I see it all, right? Okay, you can stop. None of you got it yet. Here's the one thing we do more than anything else all day long. It's called communicate. And the thing about communication is it is the most underdeveloped and underutilized asset that we have to getting anything we want in this world, period. Everybody on the big stage internationally in your company has done one thing. They've learned how to communicate with themselves and others to get what they want. How many of you recognize if you're like, I just can't stop eating cheesecake, but that's because you talk about it like it's orgasmic. I talk about it like it's poison. And it's like, I look at Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I look at Starbucks as financial ruin. I don't go to Starbucks. I like investing in Tesla. I like investing in stock. I own a lot of shares of stock because I don't go to Starbucks. How many of you understand? I call it financial ruin. You call it yummy coffee. I don't go there. I get rich. How many of you understand what I'm saying? I have changed my communication. Some of you go, man, I'm just busy. Well, I'm not busy anymore. I gave up being busy years ago. What I am is I'm having fun, I'm producing results, and I'm making a difference in the world. How many of you recognize that's a much more fun life? It's not positive thinking. It's a different way of doing things. So everything I share for the next like 37 minutes, and if I go a few minutes over, I'm sorry. I have a genetic defect called over delivering. I'm sorry, it's Sunday. This is the day, if anyone like understands what today is, today's the day about giving back to you. And somebody up there, I don't know if you're, whatever religion you have, somebody's waiting for you to do the work. They're like, can you give me a break? I've got enough people to take care of. Will you please do some of the work so I don't have to do everything for all these other people? So here's the thing I'm going to share with you. I want you to think about this in the context of how do you get yourself to take action? And I'm also going to tell you there's a different perspective that all of us have. And I'm going to tell you that really there's a big reason why most people don't get what they want. And one magic word, once you like unleash this week inside of you, that's got a chance to not only destroy fear, because you'll learn in a little bit, fear is such a BS concept. There's no such thing. It is a misread emotion inside of your body. It's actually like a missing file. It's no different than if you have if you don't have a Mac and you have a PC and your computer doesn't work, it's that spinning thing that you get all the time. That's fear. It's a file that's missing, or it's an overloaded system. And you're going to learn quickly that fear is just something that is a BS mechanism we use to stay average, and you sell yourself and not getting what it is you want. So let's talk about why people don't get what they want. How many of you have known before what it is you wanted to do? Like, I'll give you a good example. Let's get off business for a minute. You want to get in better shape. How many of you ever wanted to get in better shape? Come on. Or how many of you forget the better shape? How many of you wanted to change your shape? Anybody ever want to change their shape? Like, I want to put some abs here instead of a belly, right? I want to, like, ladies, bikini body, men, bikini body, right? Okay, you want them to have that, and you want your body the way you want it to be, right? Big, tough, back in the day. So what happens is, what I recognized is, like, you'll go to bed with a big plan. You'll even write on your nightstand, like, how many push-ups you're going to do. Like, you go to bed with your yoga outfit on, your shoes are by the floor, you set your alarm. How many of you have done this, right? And then you wake up in the morning and it's mind over mattress, and the mattress kicks your ass. How many of you had your mattress beat you? But it's a Tempur-Pedic. You don't get it. It's comfortable. I'll do it tomorrow. And it's okay to do it tomorrow if you don't want the life that you want. It's okay to put things off. Folks, putting things off is the norm. Being lazy is the norm. Being pathetic and looking at someone else's Instagram is the norm. How many of you recognize that as the norm? But no, dude, I just do it because that's what I do. I don't want to be normal. I love it when people say you're weird. I'm like, thank you. Give me say it again. Can you say it again? How many of you would like to be weird? I mean, I like to be weird. I like to be weird and rich and happy and go on vacations and I'm not here to like talk about money because it's not the only thing, but how many of you would like to go on vacations that are like a nice secretary's salary? I've done that before. Like it's 30, 40,000 bucks for 7 days. I do it every year. My goal is for you to do it as well. It's not about me. So it's mind over mattress, and the mattress kicks your butt. So what stops most people from being successful? Well, let me make it real simple for you. It's very, very easy to understand. And the drug companies, and this is not, we're not going to talk about that thing, right? The thing, but we're going to talk about drugs in general. I work with some of the biggest marketing companies in the world. They hire me to rewrite 3 words on an infomercial, makes them hundreds of millions of dollars. I get hired all the time from companies. The drug companies hire the bad version of me. So I'm Superman, they're Berserko, the bad guy. Like, so they hire the bad guy, I'm the good guy. CNN, NBC, Fox, they hire the version of me that's the bad guy version. I'm the good guy version. How many of you realize same technique? So we get pissed at Instagram and Facebook, like, dude, they took my kid's brain. Instead of getting mad at Instagram and Snapchat, we should say, what are they doing that I could be doing? You're boring. That's why your kids are on Instagram. You're boring your meetings. You need to give me more fun. You need to be exciting. How many of you are getting this? You guys catching on? We need to be different. So we've got to catch on to this. So what happens is the drug companies have realized there's 2 words they use that stop people from getting what they want. I'm going to tell you them. They're the 2 reasons you're not motivated or your person you bring in is not motivated to get rich. If you shared with me an opportunity that I could make an extra $300 a month, $500 a month, and it made sense to me and I had to get 6 people involved, dude, I'd be on that in 2 seconds. How many of you understand it? I'd be on it in 2 seconds and so should they. But here's why they're not. The 2 words the drug companies push, and I'm not saying this is it. Number 1 is depression. Now I'm going to tell you, depression's the big word. The lighter word than that is not feeling good, not being on, not believing in yourself, not being motivated. How many of you realize low level, not being motivated, one day could lead to being depressed? So it's when people go, well, I'm just not into that right now. This is what gets in your way. We've got to change that in people. The number 2 reason people don't get what they want is very simple. It's something called anxiety. Like, how many of you have had people before that you've recruited and they've been in 3 days and they're looking for their $10,000 check? How many of you have seen these people? Dude, I've been using the gut product for a week. I'm still fat. You're fat because you've been eating that way for 30 years. How many of you understand that? I can't change your DNA in an afternoon. People are anxious. So we've got a society of anxious people. We've got to change them. So you might say, Michael, can you get to the point? I'm teaching you psychology here right now. We've got to understand this. How many of you are learning right now? Throw your hand up if you're learning. Anybody catching on? Good. So pay attention. So here's the thing. When you're watching with me, I want you to listen to what I say, and how I say makes you feel, how you feel, because my background is linguistics. It's not in business and sales. It's how words make a difference in people's lives. So let's play a little game here real quick. Okay. And this is, and you say beach money. Jordan's a great friend of mine. The guy that wrote that book, he's a really close friend of mine. I'm actually in his new book as I'm the intro for it. But the point is, why I'm saying this to all of you right now is this is an interesting concept that all of us need to get. Is I want you to think of the last time you had a bad day. How many of you have had a bad day? Let's not be positive right now. Let's be honest. How many of you have had a bad day? And I want you to think of the last time you had a super duper bad day. And the last time you had a bad day, I want you to finish my sentence for me. The last time you had a bad day. I bet you were saying something like this to yourself. Why is this happening to, put in the box. Why is it happening to who? Why is it happening to what? Put in the box. Put it in, me. And everybody says me. So the number 1 reason people don't get what they want in this world is they're focused on their problems. I want you to remember this. Human beings are obsessed with problems. Why do they like problems? Well, let me teach you about the unconscious mind. If you know what to avoid, you'll avoid it. So when you're driving by an accident and you look, you're not a mean person. You're not like God shouldn't strike you down. You're not a bad person. But the reason you look at the accident is your brain is going, look at the accident. That is a problem. We never want to experience anything like that. Memorize everything that could go wrong. Oh my gosh, I could go broke. Remember that time I bought that stock or did the gold coin company back in the day, or I did that last direct sales company? Memorize it, keep it right here in my brain. Why do people, are they negative? Because they don't want to repeat it. How many of you recognize your prospects are negative? They're not mean people. We are programmed to be negative to avoid pain. How many of you get that? Everybody catching on? So here you are showing up with positive and my comp plan and my products work. You're walking up to a negative person that may be sounding positive. Hold that thought for later. The number two thing is some of you are like, well, Michael, I'm not a negative person. I am very positive. I've been to 3 coaching institutes. I live in California. I go to Sedona twice a week and I rub crystals. And I go to 3 churches. I'm a Jew, I'm a Buddhist, and I'm in Scientology. How many of you know people like that if it's not you, right? We all know people like that. You're positive. Okay, good for you. So I'm going to tell you the most selfish people in the world are the ones that give everything to everyone and nothing to themselves. How many of you realize the greatest gift of direct sales is for you to become the greatest person you can be? The money's a byproduct. The money's the cute little thing that happens. Think of the life you're going to give your kids, your nieces, your nephew, the grandkids, your family, your friends, your neighbors, when you level up and become a greater person. The world is dying for people to play at a higher level right now. How many of you get that? Everybody catching on? So my mentor said it best. He said, if you walk by a beer can, it's on the side of the road. If you leave it there, you're part of the problem. The second you pick it up, you're part of the solution. Our job right now is we need to solve things in our lives. What it is that we need to do is we need to solve challenges for people. People are in their own way. We need to help them get out of their own way. We need to help them make decisions. We need to help them see the world differently. We need to show them it's possible. And the number 2 thing we need to realize is very important is we need to remind them that it's going to take a little bit of time. Adversity has been stripped from us as human beings. One thing I recognized during the P word last year, which is the unique year we have of 2020, is life's got real easy, man. You get your stuff delivered to your house. Things are easy. People got gyms in their house. They don't want to go anywhere. Don't want to do anything. And the things it takes to be successful is success is inconvenient. How many of you understand? I love you. I love all of you. I'd rather be with my kids right now. Be very honest. I would rather be with my kids than you right now. But guess what? Being successful and getting what you want is an inconvenient activity. How many of you are willing to be inconvenienced for 3 to 5 years? How many of you understand 3 to 5 to get the life you want? Beaches of the world. And I've been on some crazy beaches that I want you to go to. I want you to get to Fiji. I want you to get to Turks and Caicos. I want you to be on the islands off of Spain. How many of you understand that stuff's not closed down? We'll get there. Oh, dude, I can't fly anymore because of this. Get your own jet. You can go anywhere you want to go. That's what I want for you. That's the life we're looking at. That's the thing we need to do. And I remember when I was years ago, and this is a big thing to understand is, and this is what we need to understand as people. I woke up in the middle of the night and I had a really great idea. How many of you ever had a great idea in the middle of the night? Like great idea. And you're like, oh my God. And you're like looking for pen and paper and you can't remember, you throw the lights on and you forget that great idea. You got a great idea. You forgot. And then immediately after you forgot that great idea, now you can't sleep because you're excited about what you don't remember. How many of you have done that? I've been so excited. I didn't remember what I was excited about. Right. And then I'm like, I can't sleep. And this is middle of the night, nothing on the internet to look at. So I turn on the TV. I buy every infomercial product. And the reason I don't know if any of you do that, I own everything. I got the ladder, the pancake puffer. I've got everything. You can buy every beach body. I got every product under the sun I own. I'm a buyer of things, right? I bought like everything, like, oh, the screwdriver that, you don't even need to you stare at it and it works. And you're pointing at her like she does it too. And then I flipped on the church channel that night and I've never seen it before. And this guy said something, it was like the Darwin Network. He said, eagles are a lot like human beings. And I'm thinking, this is interesting. He said, when a baby eagle's born, they got a tiny little bit of liquid in their eye and they don't know it's there. And it's kind of like a human being that's got a brain that they don't really use. How many of you know people that don't use the brain, right? So what happens is they got a little bit of liquid in their eye and it only shows up at the right time. So I live in Arizona where it's just hot all year round and nice half the year, but it's always hot. But when I lived in Jersey, when a bird is cold, they fly somewhere warm. When a human being is cold, they bitch and complain. How many of you understand? That's the difference between eagles and human beings, right? Like, it's like if a bird didn't have money, a bird, if they could produce money, would go get money. So it goes somewhere warm. And the little liquid, they don't know it's there. And one day it gets a little off track, a little too far to the right, a little too far to the left, a little too high, a little too low. And it starts to create excruciating pain. Those of you that live in like Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Chicago, Canada, wherever it is, you know what I'm talking about. An icicle pushed up against your eyeball. And it creates like excruciating pain. And the eagle goes, this sucks. How do I change it? And it gets back on track. Every one of us have been in relationships before, business situations where you said, this isn't working. This is going nowhere. And we've also been in Michigan, right, Joe? And we've also been in situations where things are getting better. You're taking care of your relationship better, so your intimacy gets better. How many of you realize when you talk more, your intimacy goes up? At least you talk about the right things. It's a good thing, right? We should do that type of stuff. That's a hint. There's your little love talk, right? Or in business, your sales get better because you're doing some of the things that you need to do. What most of us don't recognize is at that moment, you're making the magic word happen. And the magic word is progress. For my Canadians out there, it's progress. It's the same thing. I'm part Canadian, I'm a hockey player. It's the same thing. What it is you're getting somewhere. I've never met a human being in the middle of doing push-ups that was depressed or upset. I've met people that feel good, because when you're making progress and you're focused on solutions, that's what this business is about. How many of you realize our job is to convert people to become solution-oriented people that get somewhere with their lives? That is what you're recruiting people to do. Because if they do that, they're going to bring people in. They're going to get excited. It is a game changer. We are teaching people how to do something they've never done before. Become solution-oriented people, to look for solutions, to look for the right thing, to have the right scope on life, and to focus on getting where they want to go. How many of you are getting this right now? If you are, say I am. Anybody catching on? This is basic common sense. The problem with common sense is it's not common practice. Starbucks should be closed by now because no one should go there. You should not be buying a $7 coffee when you could buy a really cool Italian coffee maker at home, and you can make really fancy coffee for $1 and get rich at the same time. I'm not knocking Starbucks, but don't be a dumbass and go there as much as you're going. Be smart, folks. Okay. Number two, you're asking yourself, Michael, I get it. I get this progress thing. So what do I got to make progress on? How about this? Getting what you want. How many of you would like to make progress and get what you want? I'm even going to open up the line for questions later, and I'm going to teach you things if you want. It's going to be super fun. I did this in your house and it was a blast. So I'm going to take like 5 more minutes and then I'm going to open up for questions. How many of you have the courage to answer a question? Anybody got the courage? Some of you are scared of me right now. Like, I'm not going to go near this guy. He talks real fast. The people that speak up are going to get a lot out of this. So you should focus on one thing and make progress. I'd like to make progress on getting the things I want. So let me talk to you about why goal setting doesn't work for the majority of people in this world. And this is really screwed up right now. When I first got into personal development 24 years ago, I realized something very, very interesting. 3% of the world was getting a good life, getting a good marriage, getting what they want. So here we are with all the technology in the world, and it's still about 3% of the people are getting the life that they want. So if I called your corporate office, and you got tens of thousands of people in the company, and I were to ask them to give me a list of all kinds of people, every color, creed, sexual orientation, every type of tall, short, in between, overweight, underweight, young, old, so give me 100 people. I promise you, if I sat them down and said, let's go get your goals, 6 months later, less than 3% of them would get what they want. Every one of them would do the same thing. But why isn't it working for people? Why is it that well-meaning good people are not getting what they want? And it's not a bill, it's not a plan, it's none of that stuff. We can't change it for people. They need a shift in perspective. And here's the shift in perspective that I'm going to give you very simply. You could be a really good person and a nice person that does the right thing. But if that right thing doesn't work for someone like you, it's never going to work. Because I can do a heart transplant, but if I have the wrong blood type, you die. How many of you understand that you die? It just doesn't work right. So just because you got to be duplicatable, you don't get it. It worked for them. Folks, it may not work for you, this one basic thing. I'm not talking about following the duplicatable system that the company has. I'm talking about just because they wrote it on a piece of paper and put a picture of Disneyland on the board doesn't mean that's going to work for you. So let's talk about the way the brain works. And I might curse one more time, maybe twice. I just might curse one more time. But let me teach you about your brain and your heart, right? Your brain and your heart are not exactly friends. So your heart goes, oh my God, I want to get rich. I want to get rich. I want to get rich. I want to go talk to that girl. I want to talk to that guy. I want to prospect him. I'm going to do it. How many of you have said that before? Like, I'm going to do it. And your brain goes, okay, how you going to do it, asshole? That's how your brain talks. You understand? Like your brain shows you, can I show you 50 videos of you screwing up last time? How about I show you an IMAX screen of you messing up? Remember when that girl broke up with you? Remember that thing that didn't work? Remember rejection? So like men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Your heart is from Pluto, your brain's from Uranus. How many of you understand? Like they don't work together. They just don't hang out. They're not friends. Some of you are like, he's a comedian. I'm just a human being that's been around this. And I've only worked with about 3 million people over the years. So I got it. I get it. I get you. And I know what it is you need to do. Now pay attention because this is going to be important. I'm going to take something I said a minute ago and something I said now, and I'm going to tie it in a bow. And it's the biggest reason why most of us don't get started and do the things we need to do. I'm glad you think, Julie, I'm hilarious. And I'm like this all the time. I just like to be funny. I'm very serious too, but I like to have fun. Okay. So I'm the fun dad on the playground. I like to play on the playground and then let my kids play too. So think about this for a second. You walk up to somebody and you say, go get what you want. Here's the problem. 97% of the world are not motivated by get what you want. 97% of the people you walk up to are not motivated by, and it's 97% of you, by just deciding and doing. They're motivated by things getting bad enough and then they change. And here you are coming with this wonderful comp plan, this wonderful product, when these people are driven by negativity. How many of you recognize your approach sucks? I mean, I just want to be blunt. You're coming with positive. That's not how they're motivated. You got to hit them negative, positive. Negative, positive. I'll show you guys this in a minute. This will get you wealthy. And it's why you got started in the first place. This is not a sales technique. It's just the way it works. So if you walk up to somebody and you say, listen, you should put a picture of a bikini model on your fridge and say, yeah, that's what I'm going to be in March. You're probably going to open up the fridge and eat cheesecake. But if I go to Photoshop and I super enhance a picture of you and I make you 200 pounds heavier, say fat people eat here, you're probably going to grab celery. How many of you understand that? Anybody catching on? You know you are. If I put a picture of the bank account you want on your fridge and say, here's what we're going to earn, your brain is going to go, yeah, I don't really have a reference for that. What if I put like, get rid of a couple zeros and go, my plan to be broke in 2026, do these things. You'll avoid all of those things. 3% of the world is motivated by decide and do. 97% of the world is motivated by things getting bad enough and then they change. So I learned a while ago, and I'm going to play a little game here right now. I don't have vision boards. I use nightmare boards. I like nightmare boards. You should have a nightmare board and a vision board. So every day you can wake up and go, this or this, shit, I need this to motivate me. How many of you understand like two options, nightmare board, vision board? How many of you recognize you need a nightmare board sometimes? You always need one because we get turned on when things get bad. I know during the beginning of 2020 in March, dude, I was more motivated, worked harder than I ever did in my life because I had to go. Like I had to do things and make things happen. I had to figure it out. How many of you had to figure things out last year? And you had to because you didn't want to lose what it is you had. So let's talk about this for a second. Why do people get started in this business? And a lot of you are going to say, oh, I got started because I like the comp plan. I got started because I wanted more money. I got started because I like the product. So I was a product user first. B and S. And I'm going to tell you BS. That's not why you got started. I'm going to give you the ultimate line that I've ever used in my life of this. Freedom. Not true, Kathy. Freedom is the result, not true. Here's the reason we got started, all of you. And I can, if you were to really be honest, it's very simple. It's one question. This is not a prospecting question. This is a question that you have to learn how to ask. And this one is one of two questions I'm going to give you to help you get rich. And how many of you are cool with saying the word rich? If you don't want to say rich, you could say wealthy. They're both great. If you're not okay with the word rich, say it a few times. I know it's uncomfortable in the world today. I don't care. You got to get rich. How many of you recognize there's no in between anymore? And if you're not rich, you're in trouble these days. Middle class is dead. And if you don't get rich, you are going to be struggling forever. How many of you understand that? You got to get rich. And here's one of the ways to get rich. Make an extra $1,000 a month in this business, apply it to your mortgage, or get a house, rent a house, pay it off sooner, then use that money to buy another property. Maybe this comp plan doesn't get you rich, but the extra $2,000 a month can make you wealthy. 24,000 extra dollars a year. I could teach you how to invest. I get an average of 25% back on my money every year. Wealthy people do that. Okay. And you should too. So it's not about getting always to the top of the comp plan. I'm cool with you making $2,000 a month every month for the rest of your life in this comp plan for the next 39 years, but becoming a millionaire off to the side. How many of you get it? Different way of looking at it. Got it? Okay, good. So here's the part that I want to get you. And here's the word. What's not perfect in your life yet? And I'm going to say it again. My team will type it in the box. What is not perfect in your life yet? Well, here's the things people are going to say to you. Whenever you use the word yet, you are presupposing things could get better. They're going to say, well, I don't have enough money. I haven't saved for my kids' college, this or that. When you say what's not perfect in your life yet, Billy, I got a question for you. So let me unmute somebody here right now. So I see Marie Weatherell. Is that Marie? I'm going to unmute you if I can. So can you unmute you? I'm going to ask you to unmute. I don't even know you, but go ahead, unmute. Can you unmute?
Yes.
So Marie,
Hello.
what's not perfect in your life yet? Be honest. Don't lie to me.
Financial freedom.
Very good. That's not your problem. You don't have enough money right now currently, correct?
Yes.
So if you were not in this business and you wouldn't say financial freedom. That is the nonsense stuff we say when we're in the company. Okay. Folks, we've got to stop it with that whole financial freedom thing. I know you want that. That's an end result. We got to talk about it, but let's talk about step one.
Okay.
Getting more financially stable. How
There you
many of you
go.
recognize step one, get financially stable? How
Yes.
many of you recognize people can tolerate that? Our first job is an extra 2 to 3 grand a month for people so they can get financially stable. They can believe that. How many of you understand?
Okay.
But Marie,
Stable. Yeah.
so I want you to
Good
say,
word.
talk the way you talked before you got in the company. So I'd say, Marie, what's not perfect in your life yet? Just say it the way you used to say it.
Where I used to say it. I don't know. My life is pretty darn perfect, but I love the challenge.
Okay, so that's not the way you would talk. What she'd need to say, what she really would say if she wasn't overthinking, she would say, you know what, everything's good. I would just like life to be a little easier and I'd like more money. Am I correct? That's what you'd say.
Yes, that's simply put. Yes.
That's how you would say it if you were being not put on the spot. Okay.
Well, yeah,
This is
maybe.
the way people speak. So when you say to someone, what's not perfect in their life yet, they're going to say, you know what? I don't have fulfillment in my life and I just don't have enough money, or I feel like I'm getting older and I have less energy. Does anybody know a company that offers more energy to people and an opportunity to make more money? Let me look around. Does anybody know anybody? Okay, so I'm going to mute you again. I'm going to put you on mute. But the point is, when we say to people, what's not perfect in your life yet, they give you the problem. And then you can say to them, after they've given you a problem, I have a solution. How many of you recognize without a problem, solutions are useless? Anybody getting this? Like, we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I do Krav Maga. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jab, 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 knock your ass out. So this is the point of what we need to do. So let me ask somebody else here right now. So who else would like to play with Michael? There's a new game called Get Threatened by Michael. Okay, Beth Weiser, can you reach forward and unmute your computer? Beth Weiser, Beth, you're on. Beth, what's not
Hello.
perfect in your life yet currently, even within this company? Be honest.
Well, I don't have enough money.
Great. Now, are you talking to people about the products and the opportunity?
I have been
And
right.
what kind of result are you getting?
Oh, and what
If you giggle all the
they
time,
don't
they're
want-
never going to buy anything. Yes.
no, they didn't want anything natural.
Very good. I've never met anyone that didn't want anything natural. And I usually say this word to people. Naturally, you're looking for the best things for naturally, you're looking to live a long time and you want the best products, right? When I say the word naturally to people, it sounds natural and they like it. Naturally, you're looking for ways to have more energy. One of the funniest things I say to people over all the years. So let me ask you a question. Did you say this to people, Beth? So how committed are you to your health and living a long time? I like to ask that question. I mean, I don't know, maybe a stupid question, but I ask that of people. And I've never met anybody that says, you know what? I'd like to die sooner. Very few people say those kind of things. So how committed are you to your health and living longer? Are those good questions, folks, or are those stupid questions? What do you guys think? I think that's a good question. So Beth, what's not perfect in your life yet is you're not making enough money yet, correct?
Correct.
Very good.
And
So-
I don't have enough time.
Yeah, it's a bunch of BS. But anyway, so here's the thing. So let me help you, Beth. You're not really fully committed to this. You're passionate. You're excited. You are dying in a passion puddle. We're spitting because we're excited. We're sweating because we're nervous. But commitment is missing another word. Congruency. Doing what I said I was going to do. So if you said, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to get somebody involved in this business in the next 30 days. If you really did what you said you were going to do, that might require you to pay for them to get in, which I never recommend. But if you did what you said you were going to do, you would do it. How many of you would agree committed sometimes gets you committed and you wind up in an institution? How many of you understand that? But what we need to do is stop being committed and we need to do what we say we're going to do. Because if you're committed and you're not congruent, you don't get what you want. How many of you are getting this? Everybody catching on? And am I okay? 15 more minutes. Is that okay? Are we good? Okay. I'm having fun. And if you got to drop off and drop out, I wouldn't. I'd stick around because I'm about to give out lottery numbers to all of you winners. What's going to win the lottery tonight? Okay. Very good. So let me ask you, if you said to me, you know, Michael, I just don't have enough money. Really? And then I'd ask the question, how long has that been going on? For years. Are you working on a solution? Well, kind of. All right. Well, I might have something. If you're interested, we could talk about it another time. And then I walk away and people start chasing me down. What I realized is when I get people to tell me their problems and I say, I might have something to solve. It's like, so, hey, what's going on in your dating life? Well, there's no good guys in Manhattan. There's 5 million people. I mean, what are you, crazy? There's people. And then they say, there's no good guys in Manhattan. Really? I might know somebody. Give me a few minutes. I'll get back to you. They will call you tomorrow. How many of you understand that? Prospects will call you. You need to get their problem, offer them a solution. How many of you are getting this? If you are, ding, ding, ding. Everybody catching on? So the next piece of the puzzle, which is very simple, and I don't want to give you too much and overload your brains, but this next thing is, how many of you ever gotten no from people before? Anyone ever get a no? We always don't want to get a no. What's funny is nobody actually gets a no. No one gets no. Like no one ever says no. What they say is they make up shit. They make up like, I don't have the time. I've tried things like this before. I don't want to do this. I don't like money. Like they say these dumb things. When people say, I just don't have the money, I always look them in the eyes and go, so how long has that been going on? See, people say they got fear of asking questions. Nobody's got a fear of prospecting. You just you have bad experiences with it. You haven't done it much. See, what's funny is you don't have experience of prospecting. So what fear really is, and I forgot I was going to cover that right now, is anytime you have fear, it's really just a missing emotion. So anytime you've never done something before, it's uncomfortable. How many of you get that? So your brain is like, wait a second, I'm being asked to do something I've never done before. I don't know what to do. What do? I don't know. Run the fear program. That's what your brain does. It drops in the fear program and it misrepresents what's going on. So how many of you have ever looked at your bank account and it's not what you wanted it to be? How many of you have done that? Looked at your bank account, it's not what you want it to be? I've done it too. Like, I do that and I got a nice size bank account. And I'm like, what happened? What did I buy? What did my kids buy, right? Uber Eats is the thing you just need to all stop doing. It is so stupid. Look at the fees involved. Just don't do it ever again. Like, let's put that company out of business. Stop using it. It is a waste of money. Get in your car and drive there, unless you need to be convenient, right? So, or how many of you ever looked at your body and squeezed a little bit and go, ugh? Anyone ever done that? Guys do it too, right? We can hide it though. I know for a fact, we got a chance to hide it, Kelly. You and I can do that, right? We can hide a little bit if we need to. Or how many of you ever looked at your neighbor and go, what the hell are they doing that I'm not? And we're missing it. Anyone like they got a great tan. They got back from a trip. We got the same job. What the hell are they doing that I'm not doing? So the reason your brain gets these is they're sending a signal to the body. So when your bank account's not where you want it to be and you get a little down or depressed, that is your brain saying, time to do things different. I tried to get your attention showing you the Rob report. I tried to get your attention showing you the commission checks. I didn't know how to get your attention, so I'm going to make you feel bad. Or the extra 10 pounds in your body, that's your built-in trainer. You are supposed to feel bad when you have 10 extra pounds. How many of you understand that? You are. Or when you look at your neighbor and they're doing better, they're saying, look, idiot, go walk over and ask them how they did it. Stop being shy. So whenever you have fear, your brain is just saying, wait a second, we've never done this before. And here's the plan. Do it once. You'll be shitty at it. Do it a second time. You'll be a little bit better. The third time you'll get good, on your way to being excellent. How many of you understand that? Everybody understand there's no such thing as fear? Stop buying into it, because if any of you can produce a bucket of fear for me, I will produce $1 million check to you immediately. You could just come to my house. I'll give you my address. My building is 90960 East Bahia. Send me a bucket of fear. I will give you $1 million. You can give me a bucket of puke, but you cannot produce a bucket of fear. It is impossible because it doesn't exist. Stop making a boogeyman. There's enough problems in the outside world. We need to stop saying we have fear. What it is tell the truth. I have a lack of experience at this. How many of you understand it? Be honest. I'm not good at this yet. How many of you understand it? I'm not good at this yet. And if you want to go old school where I made all my money, I'm not good at this what? Yet. So let me give you the question. How many of you realize no is not what we're scared of? There's no such thing as no, and no one ever says no, but they really do say no. So let's play a little game. I want everyone to say it out loud. I can't hear you, but I want you to say the words no. Everybody say it. Just say it like a bratty little kid. No, no,
No,
no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no. Okay,
no.
now stop. Now I want you to stop and say the word yes.
Yes.
Say it again.
Yes.
Say it again.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is harder?
Yes,
Which is harder?
yes.
Okay. All right, now
Yes.
stop. I got to mute you guys again. Which is harder? Yes or no? Yes is harder. 3 letters, not 2, and it requires your. When you say yes, your body moves. When you say no, your body puts a stake in the ground. So here's the deal. If we know people are going to say no predominantly, like somebody walks in a Chess King back in the day. How many of you remember Chess King, the store with Cavaricci pants back in the day at Jersey Mall, right? And skids and on hypercolor shirts. I can see the age of the audience, so I know you know what I'm talking about, right? I got Mike P laughing in the background. I used to walk in there. I wanted the $90 pants, but I always said, just looking. No, you can't help me. So if we know they're going to say no, let them do what they want to do. So what I ask people is this question. I'm going to mute somebody right now. I'm going to play a game with Dr. Aaron. Dr. Aaron just got unmuted. Oh my God, Dr. Aaron got unmuted. Okay, so you can just call me Michael. Okay, we got it there. Okay, good. But the point, I'm just teasing. So I like that fun. So Dr. Aaron, let me ask you a question. If I could show you a way to make a lot more money than you're making and impact people's lives, is there any reason you would not want to hear about it?
No.
She just said, no. Great. Can we meet next week and talk about it?
Yes.
Your no just is going to make me money. How many of you understand that? Anybody get it? That's called voodoo. When I do Krav Maga and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's about doing what you don't expect to get the win. So when I say, if I could show you a way to retire your family in the next 10 years, is there any reason you would not want to hear about it? No.
No.
Great. Can we meet next week? So the point is why I'm telling you this is how many of you realize not only do we have to go for no, but we need to start using it to our advantage. Stop trying so hard. Stop pitching comp plans for people. Start talking about the problems. I would look at people. Have you noticed how our money does not go as far as it used to go? I would say that it is true. Have you seen the prices of things at the grocery store? Oh my God. You know what I realized? I've got to make more money. Me too. If I could show you a way to make more money, is there any reason you would not want to hear about it? No. Well, then let's meet next week. How many of you recognize they're going to be chasing your ass down with a credit card? How many of you understand that? Everybody catching on? So let me give you the 4 things you need to do. Then I'm going to share a really cool thing with all of you. And then I'll be open for questions if you need it. But yeah, you could mention, like, have you noticed how a gallon of milk doubled in price and people are making less money? God, there's got to be a better way. Yeah, we got to find one. Now they're looking. It's like foreplay in sales. How many of you understand it? You're going to have to get better at foreplay. All of you got to get better at it. I don't know a better way to put it. And guys, don't be like, he's uncomfortable saying that. It's the truth. It helps with everything. So we've got to get better at it. So this is the part that I want to get clear with you. There's 4 things you're going to need to get where you want to go. And they're very simple. You and your team either figures this out or you stay where you're at. Number 1 is you got to be committed. But how many of you realize commitment without congruency means you're going to the psych ward? How many of you understand that? You crazy person. The third thing is something called communication. How many of you would agree that if you do not become a better communicator, you are not going to get what it is you want? Your job over the next year is to become a stellar communicator. Do you know why they don't buy from you? Is because the way that you said it. How many of you understand it? Let's get real. It's the way that you what? It's the way that you say it. I'm going to tell you for a fact, I know this, Tina says it differently than you do, slightly different in tone, slightly different with words, and you buy into it. The last one is the missing gene of the 21st century and something we need to bring back as human beings and the essence of an entrepreneur. It's called confidence. How many of you would agree you have your income is direct proportion to your confidence? How many of you recognize we need to become more confident? Why are you in this business? To become confident, to do what I say I'm going to do, and to become a better communicator. And as a default, I'm going to make more money. So I'm going to share a very, very simple story with you all right now that I think will solve everything. And then I can either answer questions and we'll go from there. And it's a very, very simple story. And I'm going to play it out for all of you so you get it. I had a client years ago that was going through a tough time. He was telling me a story about his wife passing away. And he moved to Alaska to get away from everything, and he went to hide. He brings his 2 kids out there. And I don't know if any of you have been to Alaska. It's cold. How many of you understand? You can't complain where you're at. It's cold in Arizona. It's cold there. And one of those days, on the worst day, his heater goes out. So he tried the plan. He walked up, hit it like the Fonz, gets out his kit, tried to pretend he knew what he was doing. He had no experience with the heater. So he bitched, complained, got mad, bundled up his kids, couldn't figure out what to do, and just got all mad. And he's like, I live in the middle of nowhere. It's snowing for days. Nobody's going to help me. So he goes to sit down at the kitchen table, and he's telling me this. He finds this phone book, and he throws the phone book on the floor, and he throws it down on the floor. You don't have to watch The Secret enough to know weird things happen in this world. How many of you would agree weird things happen? And the thing opens up, and as it opens up, it says, magic plumber, handyman, I can fix anything, and heaters. So he goes, no way this is going to work. So he calls the guy, but he's got all the doubt in the world. How many of you have people that doubt you? Anybody have people that doubt you? This guy got doubted, but he still wanted to show up. So he's like, my heater's broken. Do you think you can help me? He's like, I'm the magic plumber. I can help with anything. I do heating, HVAC, anything you need. He goes, magic plumber. Do you really think that you can help me? Do you really think that you can help me? Do you really think that you can help me? Do you really think that you can help me? And he says, I don't know. Do you want to help me? He's like, would you let me help me? Just come on. Just blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you can do it. I've tried this. I've tried that. My brother-in-law, everybody tried to fix it. Why do you think you can do it? He goes, we're not going to know until we get in there. Let me come over. The guy goes, fine, whatever. Throws the phone down. 5 minutes later, the guy shows up. He goes, how'd you get here so quick? Magic plumber. That's what I do. I show up quick. So the guy walks in the house. He goes, do you really think you can fix it? He goes, would you like me to fix it? How many of you ever met doubting people like this? They just doubt, they 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 doubt, but they don't really want the result. At the end of the day, you've got to want the result. So the guy comes down, looks at it, and he goes, do you want me to fix it? He goes, he's got his arms crossed. He's like, yeah, right. Prove it to me. Let me see if you really can do it. The guy goes, all right. He flips open a switch, turns the screw about 1/4 of an inch, grabs his wrench, turns the thing, and the heater turns on. He goes, how'd you do it? He goes, I turned the screw, I turned the wrench, I did it, I fixed it. He goes, well, how much do I owe you? He said, well, it's an emergency call, so it's a little extra. He goes, fine, I'll pay you whatever. Got the heat on, he's smiling now, so happy. How many of you realize when you finally get someone a result, they're happy, but they fight you forever, right? How many of you know people like they'll fight you forever, and then they lose 30 pounds of the product, and you're like, idiot, you could have lost 30 pounds 3 years ago, right? You don't say idiot, but you know what I'm saying. Never say idiot, don't do that. So the guy gives him a bill, it's $500. Because $500, are you crazy? You cost more than my attorney. Why is it $500? Well, it's $500 because that's the fee. He goes, give me an itemized receipt. So he gives him an itemized receipt. And the itemized receipt says, turning screw, $5. Knowing which screw to turn, $495. Let me tell you the point of this, folks, and why this is so important to understand. And I want all of you to get this right now, is that it doesn't matter how hard you work. If you're turning the wrong screw, it's never going to work. And what most of us need to do is we need to do the $5 thing and let somebody guide us. You know what I'm saying? Let Tina, let Kelly guide you. Let me guide you. Let us help you. You do the little $5 thing, like take action, get things done, but listen to people that know what they're doing to get you where it is that you want to go. So we talked about this prior, and I got to ask all of you a simple question. How many of you would love to be better communicators, more confident, do what you say you're going to do and stop screwing around with your thing called life? How many of you understand this? Because we're not getting any younger. We're getting older every single day. We got less energy every single day. And I wanted to offer you a shortcut if you're open to it. You're never going to get a sales pitch from me. And here's why. I don't need to sell because you can sell yourself and what you want to do. How many of you realize we need to leave the sales pitch to them? So what I'm going to offer you, if you're interested in this, I put together something stupidly ridiculous. It is the biggest no-brainer in the world. How many of you would like to spend 5 days with me for a couple hours a day? You don't have to leave your house, guaranteeing you'll get more done in 5 days than you have in 5 months. How many of you would like that? I mean, literally. And I'm going to tell you, you don't have to put makeup on. We'll do it over the phone. We're going to work on it. I'm going to tell you why, because Zoom is wonderful. We should do Zoom. But I'm also going to tell you the reason we do this is our linguistical skill is the one we need to work on the most, our ability to hear and our ability to speak. I've been doing this for 20 years with a simple guarantee. How to get more done in 5 days than you have in 5 months. And I put together something simple. And it's very easy that, like, I'm going to teach you what motivates you and other people. How many of you would like to learn psychological triggers, what make you and other people take action? How many of you would like this? And when I tell you how much this is in a minute, you're going to think I'm a moron. In 2002, I didn't do what I'm about to do here in a couple seconds. And that's not a sales thing. This is I'd like to get to know each other and see what happens in our relationship to figure out how to make this work. How many of you would like to get out of your comfort zone and destroy your average? How many of you would like to do that? How many of you would love the ability to put a real plan together in your life and really activate that core 4? And more importantly, how many of you would like to learn how to influence yourself and others? Anybody want that? So I put together a simple website. I wrote it down so I didn't forget it. It's resultswithmichael.com. My team's going to put it down. I have a program that I've marketed for years called Call to Action. And it's a $600 program. And I'm going to give it to you guys if you're interested in this for $99, if you guys want to do it. And I'm going to throw in a bunch of audios. How many of you would like this? Prospecting for profit, how to prospect. I'm throwing it in for free, how to prospect more effectively. Every single one of you watching this tonight and your team, I'm going to throw this in for free. How many of you would like what to say when for network marketing, how to overcome every objection? I'm throwing that in for free. Literally, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't do. And the things you've never heard in your life. So when someone says, I don't have the money, it's how to get into, wow, has that been going on a long time? And getting them into the spot where they actually have to change. I'm giving you that. How many of you would like binaural beats, neurolinguistic programming designed confidence audios that you listen to in the morning for 7 minutes to fire you up. And again, at night, you don't have to do a damn thing. Do your laundry when you're doing it. I'm throwing these in for free. So you go to this website now, resultswithmichael.com. The course starts. I have one in 3 weeks. I got one in 8 weeks. I can go anytime in the next 6 months. You can take it. It's from your home. You can take it from Canada, Australia, New Zealand. You can take it from Okinawa. I don't care where you take it from. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is your commitment. So here's the deal. You're getting me live, Live. I still do this live, and you're going to work directly with me with a couple hundred people. It's absolutely incredible. That's my gift to you guys. If you're serious and want to do it, my team will put it in the box, resultswithmichael.com. And then, to be completely transparent, on the next page, it's going to say, do you want a shirt and do you want a book? And then I'm going to tell you, it's $49 for a book and a shirt. If you want it, great. Everyone watching, I'm going to give you 2 copies of my book. They're normally $20 or $25 on Amazon. I'm going to send you an extra copy of my book if you pick up the book for a teammate. And I'm going to tell you how to use it. You're going to go to page 25 or 30, and you're going to write in the binding, call me when you get here. Only leaders get this far. And then you're going to close the book, and you're going to give it to them as a gift. And if they call you, they're a leader. Or you can keep a book called Average Sucks on your nightstand for a very simple reason, to ask you to play better in life. Leave it in your office. People that live a life, this is average sucks. So if you decide to spend $49 and you decide to pick up the book and the shirt, you're going to do it. So what is this for? Free shirt. Free shirt. Okay, got it. Okay, so we got a free shirt for Tina D'Angelo. Got a free shirt. I was just told Tina's going to get a shirt, which is awesome. Tina, we got that out for you as well. I'm super excited about that. So 2 books. When you get the shirt, I'm going to give you guys that. And other than that, that's all I can say today. You guys can make a decision what you want to do. Resultswithmichael.com. I got 100% satisfaction guaranteed. The only part is you're going to feel like you ripped my ass off and you're going to feel bad afterwards. Sorry about that. I'm going to over deliver to all of you. So I'll turn it back to you, Tina. If you've got anything, anyone wants to share anything, Kelly, Tina, anybody, you have a question, I'd love to share it. Again, I'm excited to work with all of you. It's the biggest no-brainer in the world. Don't tell anybody else I'm offering that with the network marketing kit, because we don't do this all the time. So you're going to get a reach out from our company. They're going to call you, tell you when. The next program's in 3 weeks. The next one after that's in 6 weeks. And your ass is stuck with me for a while. So anything you guys want to ask me or anything, I got a couple more minutes, and then eventually I'll get back to my family.
Yeah, I want to say something to everybody here. There's this statement, or the saying is, what's the difference between a good doctor and a great doctor?
I like that.
And the answer is, the great doctor doesn't know everything and is always willing to learn more. So people, and I'm saying this because I hope everybody's listening to Michael here. The most recent question Tina and I have gotten was, how did you guys do it? How did you go? What do you have that? And here's how: we're willing to do things like Michael's talking about right now. And he's 100% right when he said out of 100 people, 3% are going to do something. And we just make sure that we're the 3% that goes the opposite direction of everybody else. And we're willing to listen and learn to things that we haven't thought of before. And this whole conversation you did, which was very funny.
Funny's good, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. But it's something's going to make an impact, and you saw yourself in any of this conversation, then you're the one. You're the one that needs to do this. Tina and I both are sitting here thinking, oh, I hope everybody does this, because the more people that do this, the more people that are going to get out there and take action. And that's the biggest key. So that's what I want to say. Michael, it was so much fun meeting you. I think it was last year.
I know this year was so slow. It was February. It was February this year.
Yeah, it seems like just a couple of weeks, but and we're grateful that you came on and
had fun.
did this. I'm glad you went over. I'm glad that it looks like almost everybody stayed on. So
we're all crazy.
This is something that everybody should look forward to doing. It's going to make an impact, and it's going to make a difference. So you just got to decide right now, not later, not I'll get to this tomorrow, because that's what you've been doing this far, and you're going to have the same results if you keep answering yourself just like that, I'll do it later. So I'll turn it over to you, babe.
I was gonna say, we can do just a couple questions. We did mute everybody out. So if you want to do the yellow hand, raise the hand.
Yep.
We'll call them maybe a couple of our corporate directors or higher to ask
Yeah.
questions. So my question you can answer later, Michael, which is when are you going to let Kelly and I take you and your wife out to Maple and Ash? Because
I, you know, it's funny. I've never been there yet, and
Oh.
I've never been there. So
Okay.
I'd love that. And then let's set it up. And we have a great babysitter now. We've had a hard time finding an incredible babysitter that we trusted, that we love. We've got a great one. So we will make that happen. I would love that. And we probably could record the conversation. It'd be so amazing and give it over to everybody, but count me in,
Okay.
send me an email.
And we have a built-in live-in babysitter. She's 14. So if you
Oh.
need a babysitter, no problem. We'll
My
take her.
9-year-old may babysit the 14-year-old because
Okay.
she talks like this. I don't know, but that's fantastic.
All right. It's a deal.
Perfect.
It looks like Dr. Aaron has a question.
Dr.
Oh
Aaron,
my
go ahead.
gosh, thank you, Michael. Thank you so much, Tina and Kelly, for bringing him. So I've heard many years in this industry, the question to ask is what you're currently doing going to get you to your results? And I noticed.
Okay,
it's
I'm
very
going to stop.
big
I'm going to
yeah,
ask you to stop real quick.
and
Wait,
it's
listen,
just-
wait.
it doesn't work. So can you explain to us why it
Okay.
doesn't work?
What kind of doctor are you?
Psychology.
Okay, very good. So I've trained about 2,000 psychiatrists, and most people walk into a psychology office, or psychotherapist, psychotherapist. They walk into their office, and when they walk in, they already made up their mind they're not going to listen. Am I correct? So we need to change their pattern. You understand neural pathways, correct? So what happens is, if they've heard it before, it won't work this time. Do you understand? So we need to break their pattern and say it differently. So what we need to do is we need to meet them where they're at and say things like, have you noticed how challenging these last couple of years have been? They're going to get the agreement. Do you understand that? Very few people are going to disagree with that. Then we're going to say, have you made additional plans if this keeps going on what to do? And they're going to say no. Do you understand what I just did? That is the 2021 version of that 1992 question you just asked. So I love the question, but we need to update our questions. Do you understand that? So Aaron, what I do is I'd sit down, I work with a lot of therapy. I do a lot of intervention work, which I let you, you're probably a phenomenal working with people, I'm going to guess. And one of the things that I learned is you'd want to say is, oh, great. So in a year from now, when we're saying goodbye at the end of our sessions, how did it work out? What happened? And then they're going to talk about where they're going and what they want. I learned that from Virginia Satir, one of my earliest mentors that I used to watch and listen to. And I'm sure you know she has every book that she's ever made over here in Fritz Perls and everybody's, Richard Bandler and everything. But the point is, when a therapist says, like, so inside of a book, when you get a book, you want to write on the inside as leaders. I always say to people, when someone does what they say they're going to do, when I've got into direct sales years ago, there was a good book out there called Mark Yarnell's First Year in Network Marketing. I don't know if it's relevant anymore, but I used to tell people to buy it. Mark was a friend when he was around. And I used to say, go to Barnes and Nobles and go buy the book. Okay. So what would happen is, I would so easily say, go to Barnes and Nobles, get the book. And when you get to page 10, read me the first word on the second line. When they did it, I would then say, meet me the next day. I'd buy Og Mandino's book, The Greatest Miracle in the World. And I'd buy it. And I'd say, I'm so excited about the adventure we're on and where we're going. Love, Michael. Most people don't tell anyone love. Now you got to get clear that their wife's going to be okay with that and not be weird about it. I don't want to create problems, but most people don't do that. But what's amazing is you say something like, I'm excited about this adventure and where we're going to be in the next few years. You don't just sign the book, where we're going. So Aaron, does that answer your question? Did I give you gifts? Did that work, Dr. Aaron? Did you get your answer? Yes, yes, yes. Thumbs up. Did you get your answer? You can unmute if you didn't get your answer. You can unmute. I can't hear you. Did you get your answer?
There, they let me do it.
Did
So
you get your answer?
I speak with a lot of people in network marketing, and they'll say, but I'm going to work this year. The reason why I don't have what I want yet is because I haven't really done it. So I'm going to do it this year.
Okay, I would say actually,
Okay.
this business doesn't require work. What it requires is appropriate activity. So if you're wanting to work, that's one thing. So that's a reframe. So we're looking to figure out appropriate activities. So let's write down 3 appropriate activity things we can do. And this requires, go get all the business cards you have on your desk. Let's start calling people and let's do it together. The words appropriate activity is a new neural pathway. Never heard that one before. That's different. You got it, Dr. Aaron? Game
Thank
on?
you.
Very good. Folks, I have an answer for anything you can ask. So I got a few more minutes. I have literally 6 minutes if you want it. So what else you got? And I had a couple people message me privately about it. Yes, if you I'm not giving away the book with the course, but if you pick up the book and a shirt, you're getting 2 books. So someone asked me, do you get a book with the course? Not with the course. If you pick up the book, there's your answer to the question. Who else?
I'm unmuted. Are you unmuted too, Sherry? Okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
Sherry.
Okay.
Okay,
Hey,
now stop real quick. Stop real quick. Sherry, you go second. Julia, go first. You're going to learn how to put yourself first right now. Sherry, you go second.
I don't have any trouble doing that.
I want you to listen. I let a guy go first twice in my life. Once I let
Sherry
a guy
will
go in
tell you,
front
I
of
don't
me.
have any trouble putting
No,
myself
no,
first.
Julia,
Okay.
I want you to listen. I let a guy go in front of me in a cafeteria when I was a kid in school, and there was a star under the tray. He got the free lunch. I didn't. Number 2 is I let my friend use my computer and buy a trip to Cabo. He bought his plane ticket. He paid $600 for a ticket. I paid $1,900 because I bought the second ticket. You got to learn how to put yourself first to help other people get first themselves. So Julia, you're up. Ask your question.
That sounds great. I was wondering if most of the courses are NLP based or just the one.
Everything I do is based on human interaction technology. I take the best in the world of psychology. I've been studying neurolinguistic programming for 20 years. I'm one of the best in the world at it, and probably the top 10 in the world. I work with professional athletes. Next door to my building is Neuroforce Academy. They train the greatest UFC fighters in the world. I am the last voice they hear before they walk in the ring. You indirectly are going to get your brain sprinkled on by me of crazy, like ninja shit automatically. So if you go near me while my daughter's figure skating, you're going to get voodoo dropped on you. So you got it, Julia. So you're going to love it. What's next? If someone doesn't know what NLP is, it is neurolinguistic programming. I just say shit that works. Sherry, you're up.
Hey, thank you so much for that. And there you go, Julia. So, hey, by the way, if you can't tell, I live in Alaska, and yes, it is snowing, and yes, it's cold, but I don't care. I love it up here. You know, where you been all my life? I've
Been
literally
here. We weren't supposed to meet till now, and we're here. I will tell you, I worked with direct sales companies for the first 14 years in business. And then I somehow wound up working a lot with martial arts gyms and real estate, which is very similar. They're entrepreneurs. And I just spent a little less time in direct sales. It's our go time in direct sales. This is my baby. This is where I got started. I am back and I'm ready to go. And I want to help more entrepreneurs get the life they want than ever before. So it's teamwork. I will not be involved with your company directly. I will promote the hell out of the product. I will recommend it to people. I will send people to Tina and Kelly. I'm just going to tell you point blank. They're going to wind up on your teams because I'm going to find people that are looking for great leaders. Their companies close, things happen. I cannot be directly involved because if I am, then you can't have me on a call. If I'm in Herbalife, then you can't have me on. So I stay out of the industry, but I'm back with a vengeance right now to have more people become psychologically unemployable, to get the life they want, to become massive entrepreneurs, and to help people learn how to make $500 to $2,500 a month. So lots of people get rich. And folks, we got to stop talking about 20 grand a month. Let's talk about 500, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, and eventually we all get rich.
that was not my question, you know, where you been all my life.
I know. Go ahead.
I've been in this industry for now 34 years, and you think you've heard it all, you've seen it all, and I really appreciate. I have a comment that what you said about reframing people's minds. I love that. So being able to, and I have all the confidence in the world when I'm talking to people, but for some reason, those closures aren't coming as quickly as I want.
Give me
them
an
to.
example. So you're not talking in circles. Give me an example of what you mean.
Give you an example of what you need.
Well, no, of what you're asking about.
Oh, no, I was just making a comment. It's not even a question.
Got it. So here's the deal. This is my cute little starting thing. I'll be back again. And if they let me come back and it all works out, I'll come back and I'll teach influence and persuasion for an hour. I'll come back again and teach mindset. I'll come back and teach you guys leadership skills. I've been at this for so long. Like I got friends that own direct sales companies that do billions of dollars. I coach the owners, okay, with their mindset. So I got your back. We got to stop pretending we're the only company in the world. And we also have to respect other companies as well. Don't be picking everybody off, and you got to love them for what they do. If they don't want to join, be their friend. One day, they're not going to be as good a company as this is, and they're going to come over later. This company's been around for a while. We know what we're doing. So make a friend. Don't be an ass and try to recruit them if they don't want to leave. Call them once a month. Get to know them. One day they have a bad day. Then they join you and bring 2,000 people over. So Sherry,
I got your program. I'm real happy about
you're a
that.
genius girl. And people have been asking like, hey, is the October the only one? No, I've been running it for 20 years. I've been doing it every single month because I'm degenerately excited about helping people. And so you can take it anytime you want in the next year. You're not stuck with October, but I would do it as soon as you can. And the $99 thing is a today thing. And you might want to send a link to your teammates and tell them to do it too.
I will put the link with the replay of this on the team page. We'll make sure everybody gets it. I just can't thank you enough. This was
Thank you.
the most phenomenal training. We've had such a great time with you. Thank you for taking time out of your family to spend it with us. Can't wait to see you again. We'll talk soon for sure.
And dinner. And thank you, everyone.
Absolutely.
Love everybody. Make it an amazing
Dinner and
year.
pool.
Let's change lives. Yeah. Both. Yeah. That too. I love it. Thank you guys.
Thank you
Lots of
so
love.
much.
Have an amazing Sunday. And remember this, go utilize what you learned, because I'm going to put a curse on you. If you don't use one thing that I taught you in the next 24 hours, I wish it to all disappear. Go use something on somebody or yourself. Go use it or it's gone. So just go use something right now. Go send someone a message. Go make a difference. Go take action. Resultswithmichael.com. Go do it now. If you're wasting your time watching the video, you just saw me for an hour. Don't watch the video. See you guys later. Lots of love.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.